If you would all rise and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the July 28th meeting of the Village of Rybrook's Board of Trustees. As you may notice, there are only 3 of us here. So for anybody who has an application on the agenda, please understand that means it must be unanimously approved. So if you wish to withdraw your application, might not be a bad idea because, I can't explain what these people decide. I mean, I know I'm a little bit weird, but I will not try to deal with them. But having said that, the first item on our agenda is considering adopting a secret determination of significance for a zoning petition and application submitted by Erickson Senior Living Properties, LLC, for the property located at 975 Anderson Hill Road.
Whereas the Board of Trustees is in receipt of a zoning petition and applications for PUD site plan and subdivision approval submitted by Erickson Senior Living for property located at 975 Anderson Hill Road on 84 acres in the Plan Unit Development Zoning District, the Airport Zoning District, and for an amendment to the Village Code of the Zoning Code of the Village of Rybrook. And whereas the property is located in the former Doral Arrowwood Hotel and Conference Center, and whereas the purpose of the proposed text amendments to the zoning code concerning the PUD is to allow redevelopment of the property to include a senior living community providing continuum of care to residents, including 750 independent living units and 84 assisted living units, and memory care units, together with related amenities, landscaping, parking, and other site improvements. And whereas the preliminary site plans, including the concept plan for the proposed development, has been submitted with the zoning petition, and whereas the Board of Trustees is the approval authority for the zoning petition, PUD concept plan, PUD site plan, and PUD subdivision, and whereas as described in the full environmental assessment form, along with the petition, includes the text amendments to the zoning code and the redevelopment of the property as described therein, and whereas it's a proposed Type 1 action pursuant to seeker, and whereas on June 23, 2026, the Board referred the zoning petition and applications to the Planning Board, the Rybrook Planning Board, for an advisory report and recommendation, and whereas on June 26, 2026, notice of intent to declare lead agency was also circulated by the Board of Trustees to all known involved and interested parties, and 30 days has passed without receiving any objections. And whereas on or about June 26, 2026, the zoning petition and applications were referred to the County Department of Planning pursuant to general municipal law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby declares itself lead agency, and be it further resolved that after taking a hard look at the EAF and all associated materials prepared and submitted in connection with the proposed action, the board hereby adopts the annexed EAF Part 3 with attachment for the reasons set forth and described therein, and finds the proposed action may result in one or more significant and adverse environmental impacts, and therefore adopts a positive declaration pursuant to seeker, thereby requiring the preparation of a draft environmental impact statement, or a DEIS. And be it further resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the circulation of the draft DEIS scoping outline as prepared and submitted by the applicant to all known involved and interested agencies pursuant to seeker regulations. And be it further resolved that to provide an opportunity for public participation in the scoping process, which process includes a 60-day time frame for the lead agency to make revisions to the draft DEIS scoping outline presented by the applicant. The Board of Trustees invites members of the public to submit written comments on the draft DEIS scoping outline and schedules a public hearing on the draft DEIS scoping outline for Tuesday, September 8th, 2026 at 7:30 p.m. in Village Hall, 938 King Street, Rybrook, New York.
Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Chris, you want to give us a brief analysis of that lengthy
Thanks a lot.
resolution?
So the next steps in the seeker process is now, the board had declared its interest to become the lead agency. We did the circulation of the notice. Nobody objected. So now the board is saying we are the lead agency, meaning you, the village board, you are the lead agency for the review of this project. The application has been referred to the planning board. The application has been referred to the county department of planning. So that's currently underway. And the next step in the seeker process is lead agency is to declare, in this case, the board is declaring that there's a positive declaration, which means it has one or more potential environmental issues that need further study. And there's a draft, what they call a scoping document, which outlines the issues that have to be studied in the DEIS, or the draft environmental impact statement. So the applicant has prepared that scoping document as a draft, and that's being circulated to all the involved and interested agencies, as well as the village board and the public, to make any comments on the scoping outline, which is a very important document because that does define what issues could potentially be an issue that needs further review or study by the applicant through the review process. So that's where this is. We're referring the scoping document. You're also setting a public hearing for any and a time frame for any comments on those documents. So this is not to approve the application. This is to approve the document that will study the issues that are relevant and important as part of this application review.
Thank you. Is there any member of the public that has anything to say about this? Knowing that there's an attorney out there. We should note that this may be the first time.
Anything you want to
that
correct
we
from
have
what I
had
said?
an attorney who has nothing to say.
Any clarification on what I just summarized? Okay.
Greg?
Yes, sir. Wait, could I comment? No, so just to echo what Chris said, I've had calls from the public thinking this is like the end of the process. And I just want to say for anybody out there or that watching, this is the very beginning of the process. But as Chris said, this is just the document where it's decided what gets studied. And it's a 38-page document. But what I would encourage the public, if you have an issue, and leave aside the words environmental, think about the word impact. If you're thinking about impacts that you care about, whether it's traffic or view or quality of the building, whatever it is, or it could be stormwater runoff, whatever it is, look at the 38-page submittal there and see whether you think that the way they're outlining the studies would be adequate to address the issues that you have. Because if the studies don't get done, it's going to be very hard at the end to argue that, hey, I was worried about this and I didn't see a study about that. If you have concerns or impacts that you think are going to impact you or the community, raise them now, and it's a healthy process. I think everybody does better when stuff gets vetted thoroughly, or even if something's covered, if you don't think it's going to be studied enough, say why you think something should be studied more or less. It's a public process. You can submit written comments. You can come in person. I just, again, encourage the community, because this is a proposed large development, one of the largest ever proposed in Rybrook. So let's take the time now to look at this thing. We have 60 days and make sure that the right things are getting studied.
I concur. But I see somebody is up there.
Is this working? Is this on?
We hear you.
It's
Yeah.
on. So my name's Tony Veneziano. Just a few thoughts. You're setting up a public scoping meeting. So on September 8th, anybody in the public that wanted to come could come to that meeting. But it's not a meeting necessarily about the project. It's a meeting about what impact should be studied.
Correct.
This is the very beginning of the process.
Correct.
The first thing is setting up, you're actually taking the first step, which is the lead agency.
Right.
So on the 8th, that'll be a meeting. You have 38 pages of things we think we need to study. So you should come and you could talk to the village board about it. But for the most part, that's a process where we take notes, put them in a scoping outline. Your board adopts a scoping outline. And that's our index for the document we submit.
Right.
That document will come in later this year, and the action will be at the hearing for that document, which should probably be the beginning of 27. So just so the public gets an idea of how this will play out, because we're gonna have a scoping session, then we're gonna go back and do our EIS, then we're gonna come back, and you'll deem it complete, and then we'll have the hearing. So they have plenty of time to line up.
Right, but my point was, for instance, people have told me they're concerned about the height of the buildings. Look at the scoping documents. Do you feel the visual aspect of the height? If that's what you're concerned about, maybe you're not concerned about it. Is that being studied thoroughly enough? We can, and that's what, but don't wait till the end of the process and say,
But
Right.
part of it is we know what they want, and we know what you need. Height, traffic, we understand it. Those are two of the primary issues. So we're gonna study that to the 12th degree, to make sure we have all the evidence, and it'll work out.
Well, I think also, just to underscore what you've just said, the purpose of the September 8th meeting is not for people to come here and say, well, we think this project is stupid. We would much rather have tennis courts there or something like that.
Right.
This is really limited purpose.
Sure.
Yeah. Any other comments?
No comment.
Peter, you have,
Trustee Crom,
yes.
Trustee Moreno,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
yes.
Thank you very much.
Item number 2 on our agenda, considering a request for an exemption/extension of Chapter 158, Section 2.1 of the Village Code regarding a seasonal leaf blower ban for 699 Westchester Avenue, the former Westchester Hilton property.
Whereas, in April 2023, the Board of Trustees approved a local law enacting a seasonal gas-powered leaf blower ban from May 1st through September 30th, effective back in 2024. And whereas under the code, properties of 5 acres or more can apply to the board for a full or partial exemption or extension. And whereas an application has been distributed to all the properties that are eligible. And whereas on July 2024 and March 2025, the Board of Trustees approved a request for an exemption of the code enacting seasonal leaf blower ban for 699 Westchester Avenue, and whereas a 1-year exemption was granted by the Board of Trustees, expired on October 1st, 2025, and whereas on June 25th, 2026, representatives of 699 Westchester Avenue submitted an application for a further exemption from the requirements of the local law requiring a seasonal ban on gas-powered leaf blowers. Now therefore be it resolved, then after consideration of the intent of the local law as well as the considerations raised in the application, the Board of Trustees either approves, denies, or approves with conditions the request for an exemption of the village code, and then the board can establish any conditions that they wish as part of the application or exemption consideration.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Second.
Is there somebody from the public who would like to talk about this application?
Good evening. My name is Juan Almonte, and I represent 699 Westchester Avenue. This property is for Mr. Monchern. This is, and I can say only thank you for the renewed application.
Has anything changed?
Not yet,
Nothing.
because the property is closed, but we had to maintain it like it's open, and this is a really huge property, and for the battery, it's not worth it.
And I believe
7.5 acre.
that last time you were going to be using electric blowers near the building itself.
I will.
Okay.
Yes.
The approval last year had 2 different, it granted the extension through September 30th, 2025, and it also required that battery-operated leaf blowers shall be used on sidewalks, pathways adjacent to the building.
Yes.
So you've been able to do that?
Yes, I do.
Direction.
And you're looking for a 1-year extension?
Yes.
Don, Sal, any comments?
No. 1-year extension's reasonable. It's not 2 years, so that's good. Shorten that one.
1 year is what we've been doing all along.
Mhm.
Don, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think it's, do what we've been doing for everybody else, which is 1 year.
Greg?
Okay, so that, no, you can't do somebody has to make a motion to approve it with I'm assuming the board wants to make a motion to approve it, subject to the same conditions of last year, which is battery-operated leaf blowers shall continue to be used on sidewalks and pathways adjacent to the building, and that this extension is granted through September 30th, 2026.
Can we get a motion and a second on that?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Klom,
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes.
Thank you.
The third item on our agenda, considering approving the use of village streets on Carlton Lane and Bonwit Road for a block party on September 6th, 2026.
Whereas the village has received a letter dated July 14th, 2026, from Fabio Marconi of 11 Carlton Lane requesting the use of village streets for a block party to be held on Sunday, September 6th, from 4 to 11 p.m. And whereas the board is supportive of this proposed block party, now therefore be resolved that the use of Carlton Lane and Bonwood Road on Sunday, September 6th, from 4 to 11 p.m. for the proposed block party on Carlton Lane and Bonwood Road event is hereby approved with the terms to be established by the police department.
Can I get a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Is there anybody here to talk about this application?
Hi, so I'm Fabio Marconi, and this is a third year we're doing this party. It's a great event for families and for friends coming over. I think it's a very short street, right, like this, and this is Carlton Lane, so we close the street and have all these friends. Last year, I think we had around 60 people coming over, so it was very good for the kids to be out and all this interaction.
Great. Sounds like fun. The one thing the village is always just concerned, make sure there's always going to be, if necessary, that the emergency vehicles can get through that, and you'll work that out with the police department.
And you've reviewed this all with the police department already?
So my next step is I take now, I send an email to them saying this is happening, and they give all the warnings for me.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the idea, right?
Yep.
To get all directions, and like we did 2 years ago, right? The last 2 years, so we're gonna do the same thing. So
Yep, sounds good.
Very good.
all right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Trustee Klom,
Yes, great idea.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes, if I'm invited.
Oh,
Wow.
good.
Okay. Item number 4, considering approving
Well done.
contract number 26-17, NFC equipment install.
Whereas the Village of Rybrook has solicited bids for contract 26-17 NFC equipment install, and whereas the bid for that contract was advertised in the Journal News, LOHUD as the official newspaper, and was also made available in the Empire State Purchasing Group bid system, and whereas at 10 a.m. on Friday, July 24th, all bids received were opened and summarized below. There was one bidder, which is Level Up Retail Services of Palomar Hurricane, Utah, I guess. West Palomar Hurricane, Utah. All right. And the total is $39,750. Now, therefore, be it resolved that following review of the bids by the village administrator and superintendent of public works, the Board of Trustees has determined the lowest responsible bidder meeting the requirements of the contract is Level Up Retail Services for a total bid amount of $39,750. And be it further resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby waives the requirement for Level Up Retail Services to provide a bid bond or certified check as part of the contract install. Be it further resolved that the mayor, deputy mayor, and administrator are authorized to execute and deliver all documents necessary or appropriate to accomplish the purposes of the resolution.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Second.
You want me to summarize what this is?
If you would.
Sure.
I'm just glad to see that there aren't any outliers as far as bidding goes.
So if you recall, this was done as a best value, a bid that had, we had to do this as a bid that, because there's authorized installers, So they're, currently our contractor's finishing up and the concrete pad. Once the pad is completed and tested, then the next step is to install the equipment that gets delivered. They do have authorized installers, although anybody else could bid on it. But since there's multiple people that could bid on it, the price was actually not unexpected. It was fixed. So we only received one bid, but it is at the expected amount of $39,750 for that, which is originally provided to us through the National Fitness Council as the expected price for this bid. So if you remember, we put differentiators in the review that if we had multiple bidders, who could do it the fastest, who could had the most experience, that kind of stuff. But with one bidder, they qualify.
Fair enough. Don, Sal, any comments?
No.
No, seems straightforward.
Yes.
Trustee Crom,
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes. Number 5, considering an extension of an agreement between the Village of Rybrook and Eastern Communications Ltd. for Police Department radio maintenance.
Whereas in April 2025, the Board of Trustees approved an agreement with Rybrook and Eastern Communications to provide the required maintenance for 45 police department radios and an option for 24/7 call support. And whereas one current agreement with Eastern Communications has expired, and whereas Eastern Communications has given the Village of Rybrook another one-year extension proposal effective May 31st, 2026 for a total cost of $23,325, and whereas Rybrook is interested in accepting the proposed one-year extension, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the proposed one-year extension agreement between the Village and Eastern Communications to provide the required maintenance for 45 police department radios and an option for 24/7 call support subject to modification by council. Be it further resolved, the mayor, deputy mayor, and administrator are authorized to execute all documents necessary to accomplish the purposes of the resolution.
Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion. Second.
Chief, you have anything to say about this? Good enough.
You're obviously happy with the past service.
One thing I will just add is the exact verbatim of last year's agreement, so which is good. Trustee Crom,
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes. Number 6, considering an agreement between the Village of Rybrook and the New York State Office of Information Technology Services for Multi-Factor Authentication, MFA, hardware tokens.
Whereas the Village of Rybrook seeks to strengthen its cybersecurity capabilities, and whereas the Village of Rybrook has been awarded a grant for multi-factor authentication hardware tokens by the State Department of Information Services in the amount of $6,158.40, and whereas the Village of Rybrook is interested in accepting the MFA hardware tokens, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the proposed agreement between Rybrook and the State Department of Information Services to accept the grant for those tokens in the amount of $6,158.40, subject to modification by council, and be it further resolved, the mayor and administrator are authorized to sign and execute any documents necessary to accomplish the purposes of the resolution.
Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion. Second.
I will admit that I'm a Luddite. What is a multi-factor authentication hardware token?
Everyone knows, what a multi-factor authentication, right? You know how you have multiple ways to identify. Sometimes you have to do two-factor authentication. It's a way to create security to make sure that, the bad guys don't get a hold of your computer, and it's a way to have another factor to be able to authenticate who the person is. So in this case, this was received through a grant, 100% paid for, so we didn't have to put anything towards it. And the state, in this case, provides us with the tokens, which are basically, think of it like an insert into your computer where it stays with the person. So that's authenticating that that's the person who's providing it, and it's authenticated. So it's it's much more better authenticator than other standards that are out there. So it's a higher level, think of it as a higher level of an authentication by having these tokens that get sent to us. They manage it, they provide the support for it, they do the training for it. So It's a kind of all in one package provided by the state.
Are they little?
So each person would get an individualized token?
Yes.
They're little things that
Who's
go on your
authorized with
keychain? In the old days, we used to have things
I
like
haven't,
standalone.
haven't seen them yet.
Okay. Because you need it
Typical
to get
state,
into your.
this was approved like a year ago.
Okay.
We're still waiting for them. They ordered them. It was approved a long time ago.
It's better than just sending a code to your cell phone.
It's
right?
better than just
Yeah.
having an app on your phone, which is important, but it's another level of authentication and another level of security.
Another password.
Yeah. Well, even worse, because if you don't have
I
it,
know,
Yeah.
it's
It's actually easier in a lot of ways too, though, because it goes with you.
Okay.
You drop blood on it.
and do we know where these will be used? Just for administrative things, or like the
We're going to
police,
work with
fire?
our
Like, we don't know.
IT consultant
Okay.
to figure out the best place for them to go. We had another one too, another grant we tried to get on it, but was denied. So this is the one that was approved. But it is covered 100%, which is nice.
See, I see the word token, I think subway.
Not anymore. Not you don't even
anymore,
use that
but-
anymore.
I'm old. Any other comments?
Trustee Crom,
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes. Number 7, considering approving an amendment to an intermunicipal agreement between the Village of Rybrook and Westchester County for solid waste and recyclables disposal for refuse disposal District Number 1.
Whereas the Village of Rybrook is part of Refuse Disposal District 1 for the county solid waste and recyclable disposable services, and whereas we pay a tonnage fee for disposal of solid waste and recycling at the county facility, and whereas we currently pay $45 per ton for disposal of solid waste and recycling, and whereas Westchester County is raising the price per tonnage to $46.36 per ton for municipalities as part of the district, and whereas Rybrook must approve the amendment to the intermunicipal agreement with the county for solid waste and recyclable disposal services, and whereas the Village Board of Trustees hereby approves the amendment to an intermunicipal agreement between Rybrook and the county for solid waste and recyclable disposable services under refuse disposal district under subject to modification by council. Wow, that's a mouthful. And be it further resolved that the mayor, deputy mayor, and administrator are authorized to sign and execute any documents necessary to accomplish the purposes of the resolution.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Second.
And I think there's also an escalator in there as well, on the per ton in the agreement as well. So I forget what it's based on, but there's an escalator. We really don't have a choice. You want to bring your garbage somewhere, the county's going to be cheaper than any private facility, and that's why you have to go there. And that's what like anyone else, their operating costs go up.
I noticed the phrase, a new tipping fee will be $46.36 from $45. What is a tipping fee?
It's the weight of the fee for the weight of the material you're bringing there.
Right. They literally think of it as tipping the garbage truck up and having the stuff come down.
It's the weight.
So it's based on cost per ton to dispose of the waste at site X, Y, or Z.
It's a funny name, though.
It's a tipping weight, it's really
It is-
dumping weight.
It's a funny name, and early in my career in the 90s, there was somebody who came to a budget public hearing that was concerned because there was a budget line that said tipping in it. So they thought there was tips giving out to people and said it was a refuse fee.
Not unreasonable.
It's not unreasonable.
No. And I think it's sad that you knew what it meant.
I used to be in the industry, believe it or not.
Okay. I believe it, but I still think it's sad that you knew what it meant. Greg?
Got to bring it somewhere.
Trustee Crom,
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes. Number 8, considering setting a public hearing modifying Chapter 240-10.1 of the Village Code concerning additional signage on North Ridge Street.
Okay, now therefore be it resolved that a public hearing will be held by the Board of Trustees on Tuesday, August 11th, 2026 at 7:30 p.m. on a proposed local law amending the Village Code concerning prohibited turns on North Ridge Street.
Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Second.
Chris, you want to
Sure.
amplify a little bit?
Yeah, no. I think everyone's familiar with, particularly at the in the afternoon pickup time frame, there's a real logjam of vehicles both north and south on Ridge Street as cars are queuing up to pick up the children from Ridge Street Elementary School. So this is something that's been discussed. We agreed. We had talked to the school district when this was happening. Police helped at various times to kind of help move people through. But it's really a problem because the road gets so narrow and it can be difficult for cars to get through. They're queuing and waiting for the kids to come up, but they're queuing onto Ridge Street because there's not enough queuing space off on the campus itself at the school. So the school does what they can. They try to work it within the 3 parking lots that they have, different kind of areas for pickup and for employee parking. And we agreed to wait until after the school year so that any change could be considered by our board and the school board prior to the start of the September school year. So certainly this won't solve the problem, but we hope this will, in general, when you talk about traffic issues, left turns are your enemy. So by trying to keep the traffic flowing in the northbound lane, that keeps so the cars won't continue to pass and create literally. They come up head on, not that they're driving at fast speeds because they're usually going slow through that area during that traffic jam, but you get 2 cars that are really fronting each other, and because they're queued up both north and south, there's nowhere to go, so they kind of work their way through. But imagine if there was a fire truck trying to get through at the same time. So Chief Dengler and I and Greg Rivera, we met with the superintendent, Michael Nowak, met with the superintendent of schools and the principal and their staff, and this is something that was proposed to consider as a step, and hopefully this will help alleviate some of the flow issues. If it doesn't, we all said, things can change, and if this doesn't work, then we'll look to modify further. They may have to do things, for instance, on campus. But for now, this is a way that by what we're doing and proposing is that 2 of the left turns on Ridge Street and 2 of the turns coming out of the parking lots are restricted. So in other words, the northernmost parking lot, cars will not be able to make the left into that parking lot. The middle parking lot, which is the main lot that people pick up from, you couldn't make the left. So what they're going to be forced to do is drive up to one of the other Country Ridge roads, or hopefully follow different patterns down King Street, and so this way they don't have to turn around in the Country Ridge area and come down and queue up on the southbound Ridge Street lane. It's a short-term problem, but during the day and during the school year, but it can be something that can really logjam that area. The other 2 turns that are restricted is coming out of the parking lot. So we're looking to restrict the left coming out of the northernmost parking lot and also restrict the left coming out of the middle lot. So everyone will be forced to make right-hand turns. Again, the idea here is left turns cause traffic problems, left turns can cause accidents, and it restricts flow. So this is proposed as a step to see if this will help the situation during that time. Again, not expecting that things will flow freely all the time, but at least emergency services can get through, and we believe there'll be less chance of accidents occurring compared to what there is there now.
Well, 2 things. One, the word queue is one of my favorites because it's a 5-letter word with 4 unnecessary letters. 2, I will have to ferret out of my house a book called No Left Turns. When J. Edgar Hoover was head of the FBI, he was in an automobile accident. His chauffeur was making a left-hand turn, and they had an accident. Thereafter, he decreed no one could make a left-hand turn if he was in the car.
Okay.
And so they had to route traffic coming out of airports, everything. No left turns. So I will try to find that book for you.
That's perfect.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I had one. Quick, go ahead. Where would the signs, whose property are the signs all the signs going to be on? Are you going to?
There's a map that shows where the signage are on the backup.
I did see.
2 maps. Yeah.
Everything the right way. Some are going to be on the
Some will be on the
residential property.
on the residential properties on the right. Yeah. 2 of the signs will be there, going no left turns. Mm-hmm. The school is also going to put them on the exit of their roadways.
Okay.
And then we're going to also put them across the street when it's facing. We're hoping to put on the same sign on the northernmost one. You can't? 2 separate posts, okay. We were hoping to do it, but I guess Michael looked at it and not able to. So we're going to also have to have one facing when people are coming out saying
Right,
that.
and the residents, are they prepared for that signage? Doesn't matter maybe, but
It is more signage. We always try to find the least obtrusive place while still having to put one out there.
like between the property lines, right, the
Try to
property
do that.
lines and the.
Yeah, we try to.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah.
Not always perfect, but we try to. Nobody wants it right in front of the middle of the front lawn.
Yeah, right, that's.
We understand that.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other comments?
The school board letter talked about it being a pilot. Do we view, a pilot project like a trial?
It is.
Well, it's in our code. Nothing that we do can't be undone.
Right.
Right.
So we're hoping this, because let's face it, if it doesn't, most of the other alternatives would be probably bigger changes on campus, which would cost more money.
I'm fine with it being a trial, but just keeping an open mind to other things. Because one thing I learned from all the traffic study down by the middle school is there's a lot of unintuitive stuff with traffic.
That's right.
Like you think, oh, if we just do X, Y, and Z, it'll solve the problem. And the experts say, that's been tried 100 times and it doesn't work.
We've
So,
underlined that
yeah.
that we think it'll be better, but we're not.
Right. I saw you saying, yeah.
Yeah, listen,
That-
the
yeah.
issue is,
Inexpensive.
some of the people, it's an inexpensive way to see if we can
See
make
if
it
we- right,
flow and be
right.
safer.
Right.
As a first step to see if that
Right.
helps solve the problem, or at least solves it enough.
Right.
The downsides, the biggest downsides would be the two property, the property owners would have it. And the other one is people may turn into some of the side streets and turn around on those streets. And that
Right.
could be, people in those neighborhood may not appreciate that either.
Right.
You hope that people will find a different traffic pattern down King Street, but, some will probably go in and turn around in the neighborhoods, which some may not appreciate.
Right.
So nothing is perfect.
Right.
It's a step.
Right.
Any other comments?
No.
Greg?
Trustee Crom,
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes. Number 9, considering an agreement between the Village of Rybrook and Civic Link to establish a community calendar and outreach.
Whereas the Village of Rybrook seeks to improve communication outreach to all village stakeholders, and whereas Rybrook has received a proposal from Civic Link to establish a community calendar to allow communication and information sharing among the Village of Rybrook, the Town of the Chamber of Commerce, the Portchester Library, and whereas under the terms of the agreement, the community calendar will receive for 1 year from the date of execution at a total village cost of $3,500, will be active for 1 year. And whereas Rybrook is interested in accepting the proposed agreement, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the proposed agreement between Rybrook and Civic Link to establish a community calendar to allow communication and information sharing between Rybrook, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Portchester Rybrook Library, subject to modifications by council, and be it further resolved, the mayor, deputy mayor, and administrator are authorized to sign and execute any documents necessary to accomplish the purposes of the resolution.
Can I have a motion? And a second,
Motion.
please?
Second.
Chris, this probably needs some amplification.
Sure, absolutely, happy to. So this is an organization we've looked at for several years now, and this is something they're trying to get into this area, which we often take advantage of whenever we can. But this is one that we think one of the biggest losses we've all talked about is the Westmore News and their ability to share just information going on in the community. This certainly won't replace all of Westmore News does, but what we find is administratively, in terms of community information that's going on out there, we have to put it on email blasts. We've got to put it on social media. We've got to put it on our website. We've got to put it, each one takes an entry. Then you get the library or the chamber that say, can you advertise this for us? And, with Greg or I, which is usually the two people doing it, we'll put it on if we have time. And then we'll try to put it on and we'll put it at the bottom of ours. But it's not really good, concise information about the events, or at least not as good as it can be. So one of the things we've been doing is saying, let's look at this Civic Link, which really has an enhanced, for a very nominal cost, so $3,500 a year. What it does is it gives the community the same look and feel for different type of events. So residents also don't, while it's a hard thing to do administratively, residents have to go to the chamber website, or they got to go to the library website, they got to go to the Town of Rye website, they got to go to the Village of Rybrook website to look for each one of those types of events instead of opening up the Westmore News or something and seeing what's going on. So what this is doing is giving the residents the same look and feel, and it allows, they're able to go, we brought in the Chamber of Commerce, we brought in the library, we also showed it to the town of Rye, who was considering it. We showed it to Portchester as well, but they're kind of going in another direction with all the development. Town of Rye is looking at this administratively, and if they do it, the price would drop to $3,000 and we would get $500 back. But what this would do would give access where, say the chamber or say the library has a program, or another community group has a program, they go through we provide the link to them, they upload the information, it goes into it in a very standard format, and it gets uploaded on our calendar. It would have to be approved by the village. It would be approved by myself or by Greg. We would approve whatever it is, so we know what's going on our website. The other thing, and if you go to the links for that calendar, it's all going to have the same look. It's going to be provided. It's also going to be able to provide directions to the site. If there's a payment required, it'll link to their payment section on the other group's website. So everything gets linked to the group that's actually posting it on. And it really gives two things. The residents one location to go to for community events. It also provides access to it provides the opportunity where we can take the information, we post it in one spot, and it'll be pushed not just to that site, but to all our social media as well. So we don't have to do that again as another entry, which is what we're required to do. So for the price point and for the value, we think this is worth trying, and we'll see how it goes. They're also giving free access to the same program for the library and the chamber as part of this. It'll be our coordination and our link, but they'll be providing, so the chamber or the library will be able to get the same information back, and they'll approve whether or not they want it on their calendar on their sites. So at least this is a step towards getting people onto the same platform look and feel, so they're not searching everything out. And it'll be, I think, a really interesting way to kind of go about it, and helpful for the residents. It'll cause us less work and give residents a simple place to go, and have the same look and feel whichever site you're on.
So who
And if
runs
the town does it, that'll be an even bigger benefit. But even if they don't, they'll be able to enter information in as well and put it on our system as well.
And who feeds all this information in the junk? We have to do it?
No, the best part is it's filled in by the agency that's doing the program, and then we just approve it.
So you have to say, hey, we're having an event next month.
Library's having an event. They're going to enter it in on the system.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to go onto our community calendar. It'll say who it's from, so this way it'll be clear it's not from the Village of Rybrook, it's a library, but it'll be right listed. Then residents can sort out. I only want library events. I only want Rybrook events. I want to just look at each thing
Excuse me,
individually. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
very
pretty good.
flexible. Yeah,
And it'll be integrated with our website,
correct.
and it'll replace the event section of our website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't have to do that separate listing
Right.
the way
Oh,
we
that's
do
good.
now.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
As I do a bit of proofreading in another part of my life, I think you need a comma in the second and fifth paragraphs after the words Town of Rye, because it looks like it's
Town of Rye
Chamber of
should
Commerce.
actually be deleted out of that because it's actually just the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, but if it's going to stay in there, you need a comma after
Nope.
Rye.
If you did that, you'd have to put Portchester, Rybrook, Rye Town Chamber
I
of Commerce. so
understand,
just
but
call
otherwise
Chamber.
it looks like the Town of Rye Chamber of Commerce.
Yep, we're gonna. I didn't read it that way, and I deleted it out.
No, I understand,
Yeah,
but I was
yeah.
just,
What does the town of Rye do for their
They give it to us. They put it on their site, so they've got the same problem that we do. It's funny when we talk to the library and the chamber and the town, they're all like, "Boy, that would eliminate a lot of steps for us."
And what social media does it get automatically posted to? Facebook?
Yeah, we can post it right from
Instagram.
there into our social media.
And we can pick, like I know we have a number of we have quite a few social media
Yeah,
feeds.
anything we do, we can
pick
choose
like
what it
which
goes
feeds
to.
it, recreation,
Yep.
village.
Correct.
We don't have necessarily one-stop shopping even on our,
And we've got to
on our
re-enter.
social.
You realize, so
Yeah.
every event right now, we've got to re-enter or post back into each one of
Yeah.
those.
No, I
those
noticed, like
programs.
Greg will do it as personal, Greg will do a village, it'll come out of the rec,
A lot of that is double entry on each
Yeah,
one of those.
okay.
Yeah.
any other comments?
And God forbid there's a change of date or time.
I know.
Greg?
Trustee Crom,
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes. Number 10, considering a salary increase for the assistant foreman.
Whereas the village administrator and Teamsters Local 456 have prepared a memorandum of understanding and reached an agreement to increase the salary for the assistant foreman by $350 per month as a recognition of the roles and responsibilities of the employees in this position. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the agreement between Rybrook and the Teamsters that will increase the foreman's salary by $350 a month effective July 29th, 2026, and the additional, we should just do that. Well, it's fine. An increase, the additional $4,200 per year will be added and incorporated into this annual base salary going forward.
Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion. Second.
I was going to say do it August 1st, but I think the agreement says 29th. I can suggest it August 1st, and if not, I'll make that change. If it's monthly,
Chris,
it doesn't matter.
now, is this increase for this specific individual, or is this becoming an increase for the position?
It's an interesting question. It's for the position of assistant foreman. That's the way the agreement is. It's by position for
So
the
in other
Teamsters.
words, if we replaced the current occupant of that position with someone else, they would get this
Correct.
benefit also.
Yes, correct. And part of it is also because while it's considered to be the second most administrative position within the Teamsters, it's not paid that way in the current schedule. So it's also correcting that part.
One thing I'll note, it says in the agenda, confidential assistant foreman. Even when I log out, I can still see that. So if that is truly confidential, you may want to remove that from the site. The second one, confidential assistant foreman.
Yep.
Even when I sign out, I can see all that.
Okay. You know what? It's okay. It's public,
Yeah,
but it's.
I thought it
yeah.
might be public, so maybe you
is.
want to change the title. Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like maybe, okay.
Any other comments? Greg?
Trustee Crom?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes. Number 11, considering the appointment of a police chief. Now, this one I find a little perplexing, but go on.
Now therefore be resolved that Eric Dengler of Purchase, New York is hereby appointed to the position of police chief with the Village of Rybrook, subject to the civil service procedures of the state of New York and according to the terms of the offer dated July 22nd, 2026. Be it further resolved, the annual salary is $209,598 that's for the 2015-16 year for an effective start date of July 29th, 2026.
Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion. Second.
Now, Eric, please understand, you have to have a unanimous decision by this board. Any explanation here?
Prior to this, Eric, police chief was a provisional, and now that civil service has been resolved, now all the provisional time becomes permanent, and now he's the permanent police chief.
So, I mean, I
Under
was
civil
nice to him
service
all
rules.
along when he was just provisional.
He wasn't probational, he was provisional.
Provisional.
Yes.
All wasted.
I take back all the nice things I said about you.
Civil service.
Any comments?
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
You gotta vote first, right?
Yes.
Trustee Crom?
Yes, very nice acceptance letter, too, I will say. Very, very nicely put.
Okay. Trustee Morlino,
Take your time. This is an important decision.
Let's have some more debate.
Talk about this a little bit?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes. Number 12, considering an appointment to the Airport Advisory Council.
Now therefore be resolved that Roberta Schaefer of 1 Doral Greens Drive West is hereby appointed to the Airport Advisory Council for a term ending the first Monday of April 2029.
Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion. Second.
This is pretty straightforward. Anything
Yeah.
to be added?
I have nothing to be added.
No, she was recommended by several people on the current council.
Greg?
She was close to the airport.
Yep. Trustee Crom?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes, and thank you, Ms. Schaefer. Administrators report.
Okay, I do have several items I just want to mention. The first being that, we sent some messaging out to the community about the EPA and New York State DEC and the mercury follow-up that their DEC is planning. And we have been urging to get more information from the DEC and the Department of Health. And Deputy Mayor Heiser and I, Michael Nowak, Greg Rivera, and myself, we all met with the DEC and the Department of Health today, and it was a very productive meeting. So there are two main reasons. I'm going to focus kind of going forward, but the two main reasons for the additional investigation that there's going to be required testing of soil, groundwater, and vapor is that the state has a higher standard for cleaning up than the EPA did when they did this work back in 2004 to 7, and then again in 22, and final report in 2019. And also because the New York State DEC had asked for EPA to do more testing after the 2022 reports and testing that was done, but the EPA did not agree to that, so they want to do some additional testing now. The site was turned over to the DEC sometime after the 2022 report, and testing that was done. Funding was established by the state, and now they're going to be proceeding with doing the additional investigation of the sites that they want to have tested or retested. They have sent some access agreements out from 2024 through now, and we encourage residents to look at those access agreements, or if you didn't provide access, we think it's good that they want to investigate the area to make sure if there's any issues that are still out there, that they're addressed as completely as possible. So that's something that we would encourage people to do. DEC is going to be sending us a full work plan. Right now, it's our understanding that at a minimum, they're going to be doing 10 soil samples and 14 subsurface water and sediment samples. And the DEC is also going to be setting up a project webpage. They're also going to be sending out an updated community notice that will provide more information to people. And we asked the Department of Health, we said, is there any immediate danger for residents of any potential areas that they're concerned about? And they give a kind of a careful answer, as you'd expect the Department of Health to say, but at the same time they said they're not aware of anything that's an immediate concern or anything on the surface that's an immediate health concern. We said we'd like to see that in writing and to put that out to the community as well, to alleviate any concerns. So we're just sharing what was told to us by the Department of Health. And that's obviously based on what they know. If other testing comes out and there's something that needs to be addressed, then it'll be done at that time. They are looking to come out in sometime in August or September time period. I think it's about 45 days of collection time frame, several weeks to do the results of the soil of the testing, and then they talked about a year or two for the final report. Obviously, once you get to that point, we like to push that to be quicker than what they've said, because we want to at least know the results and what the report says. Switching topics. The paving on Ridge Street is going pretty smoothly. We think that's going well. Mr. Nowak has been working on that and working with the contractors and our Public Works Department and the Police Department. And the roads are about 80% milled right now, right, Michael? About 80% milled right now, and about a third of the streets are paved. And they'll be doing this work at least anticipate through the end of next week. Of course, that's all weather dependent. Between this week and next week with the rain that's expected. Also, not directly as part of this project, but also in the same area, we concurrently have a project going with the installation of the new sidewalk at the entrance of Crawford across to the sidewalks on Ridge Street. So that you can expect in the next several weeks. Right, Michael? Is that about right? Over the next several weeks, it's going on at the same time. Moving into other items. Now, the new online building permit system through GovWell is now live and in place. That's been in place since July 14th. Much, much smoother than the last system that we had.
Oh, great.
Good feedback. Implementation was much quicker, much smoother. We like the system. There's a lot more, if people have questions, there's easy ways to get answers, either through there or through support. So that's a much better process right now. Ice Cream Fridays, the last one of this year is scheduled. The one is for for July is scheduled this week. That's July 31st, this Friday, from 6 to 7:30. And then another event I just want to mention is coming up is our next Music in the Park event, and that's Billy Dan, which is going to be from 6:30. It begins at 6:30 on August 5th. So we're looking forward to that. It'll be another. We had a nice time last time. The last several ice cream events have been really well attended. The last Music in the Park event had a nice turnout and great band with Andrea and the Armenian Rug Riders. So we're looking forward to another great event on August 5th with Beely Dan.
Anything else?
That's enough.
Don? I would just like to,
Yes, we also were in the process. We have the company that is doing the remedial work on on Brook Lane. They're starting to remove the 3 houses on Brook Lane that the village purchased through the National Resource Conservation Service program. They're currently doing work on the asbestos removal and what else, Michael? Are there issues inside? Yeah, and they're doing the work there. They provide the notice to the state and any other agencies they had to. We're also going to do a communication out, handing out something out to the residents so that they're aware of it. And then once they finish, we also have an inspection company on site that the board approved to watch over the whole, all the removal to make sure everything's done safely with no impact on the neighboring properties. And once that's complete, then they can remove the homes. What residents should expect is they're going to see fencing around the exterior, the perimeter of the properties. And then the homes will be removed, regraded, planted with grass, very minimal landscaping, and it'll be forever exist without any structures on those properties. So after Brook Lane, then they'll be going to probably Wyman, and then Rockridge.
I just have 2 things. The first is before the music on August 5th, we're having I'll call it a ceremony to express gratitude for all the volunteers at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Ridge Park. The other thing I'd like to do is express gratitude to the DPW and the police force for their work in the last storm. I mean, we have this horrible weather seemingly every other week, and the village was really safe, and it was cleaned up very quickly, and so I just want to express my gratitude. You guys did a great job. And having said that, if there is nothing else, the next meetings of the Board of Trustees will be August 11th. We only have 1 meeting in the month of August, and September 8th. And if there is no objection, can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All in favor?
I'm going to hold out for a while and make all these guys sweat. Yes. Thank you very much, and have a good evening, and stay safe, everyone.
You